While our absolute contribution to global emissions are small, Aotearoa's per capita gross emissions are some of the highest among developed nations. New Zealand's construction industry currently contributes around 10% of these national greenhouse gas emissions. Having declared a climate change emergency in 2020, the New Zealand government is committed to reaching net zero carbon emissions by 2050. To achieve this goal, individuals and companies within the construction sector will have to take action. Designing and constructing sustainable or green buildings that utilize low emissions materials and that are energy and water efficient helps combat climate change while minimizing harm to the broader ecosphere. However, there are other things businesses in the construction industry can do to reduce their own emissions as they build projects and run their companies. Driving and flying are major sources of carbon emissions and other more toxic forms of air pollution. Vehicles and heavy machinery used for demolition and building compound this issue. The choices of individuals within your company can likewise make a difference. Many people are skeptical about whether the average global temperature is warming or whether the change in climate is driven by anthropogenic activity. Both of these are documented facts. But climate science is a complex subject, and it may feel like you need a PhD to explain key concepts with any nuance. Even when people agree with and understand the scientific consensus around climate change, they may think, not my problem, or worse, feel like we're all doomed anyway. To estimate your business's yearly carbon emissions, head to this website, tools.business.govt. By inputting data on your business activities such as energy and fuel use and travel information for a given year, you can analyze your results and identify the key areas where your emissions come from. You can even track your progress and generate a downloadable PDF of your emissions to share with third parties to show how you're making improvements. Encouraging developers and site owners to implement sustainable technologies and practices for construction projections will not only result in reduced emissions, but also reduced operating costs long term. Green construction is good for public relations also, and generally represents a valuable investment despite higher initial costs. In terms of transport, you can shrink your business's carbon footprint just by changing how you move around. Using public trains and buses, carpooling, cycling, or switching to electric vehicles can not only reduce emissions but also save money, improve health and well-being, and increase productivity. Allow for flexible working and remote work wherever possible. Whatever action you take, you need to ensure staff are on board and part of the conversation. The basic factors behind anthropogenic climate change are fairly simple. Methane and CO2 emitted by human activity into the atmosphere insulate the planet, trapping heat and raising the average surface temperature. Think of it as a blanket. Think of it as a greenhouse roof. The effect is the same. Raising temperatures mean less ice and more liquid water, resulting in rising sea levels and changing weather patterns. Per-capita, in a nutshell, is an educational series on YouTube with animated videos that cover several facets of climate science, along with many other scientific and philosophical topics, from the health effects of drinking milk to what would happen if all the nuclear weapons in the world went off all at once. Per-capita relies on a variety of sources from peer-reviewed research with links in every video's description for further reading. They themselves freely admit not all information they publish is guaranteed to hold up after further research, but they strive to be informative, and you can trust that their videos are made in good faith. Brainstorm sustainability ideas together. Use your results from this climate action toolkit to guide your discussion. Talk about all the ideas, big or small, but be clear about which actions will have the biggest impact. You may just discover entirely new ways of doing things.